Hello, a warm welcome to you in the Ghatna Chakra book video. Let's begin this journey where we will present every topic in a simple, clear, and exam-oriented manner.
All right, today I want you to put on your detective hats with me. We're diving into a fascinating little mystery. Our entire case file? It's just a few lines from a text. And our goal is to figure out one thing. What or who is an Asami?
So, let's get right into it. The source material we have is pretty sparse, which means we have to be smart and piece together every single clue it gives us.
And this is the central question, right? Who is this person, or maybe it's a group of people? What does having this status actually mean? Let's see what our source says for the first piece of the puzzle.
Now, our first clue isn't some detailed description, it's a rank, a classification. This gives us a foothold, a place to start in understanding the world that the Asami lives in.
And there it is, plain as day. An Asami is a third-grade tenant. Okay, so that phrase, third grade, immediately tells you something, doesn't it? It means there's a hierarchy. You know, if there's a third grade, there has to be a first and a second grade above them. This one simple line basically establishes a social and legal ladder.
So what does it mean to be on the bottom rung of that ladder? You'd probably guess it suggests a status with fewer rights, less security. And you'd be right. But this is where the text adds a really fascinating twist.
Because this is where our little investigation takes a very strange turn. The source presents us with what is essentially a legal paradox, a contradiction that at first glance just doesn't seem to make any sense at all.
So, the source states very plainly that an Asami's rights are hereditary. That sounds pretty solid, right? Hereditary means it's a legacy, something you can pass down to your kids, generation after generation. It suggests a pretty firm foundation, but then we get hit with this. The rights can be passed down to your heirs, but they are also neither permanent nor transferable. Wait, what? How does that even work? How can you pass something down if it isn't permanent? And if you can't transfer it, what good is it really? It sounds like an incredibly precarious position to be in.
This is the riddle, the absolute core of what it means to be an Asami. It's a right that is somehow both generational and, at the same time, incredibly fragile. It's something you can inherit, but it also feels like it could be taken away at any moment. It's like a promise you make to your children that might just vanish into thin air.
Okay, so we've got this really confusing legal status, but what did it actually mean for a person's life, for their day-to-day? Let's shift away from the abstract legal text and look at the real, tangible consequences for an Asami tenant.
And this, right here, is the bottom line. This isn't just some complicated legal theory for a textbook. It translates directly into real-world hardship. The least land in the state. Wow, that one phrase probably tells us more about the Asami's life than any definition ever could.
So this is where it all connects. That third-grade ranking, those paradoxical rights that are somehow hereditary but not permanent, it all leads to this one single harsh reality. They have the least amount of land of anyone. Their low rank isn't just a label, it's their life.
But just as we're trying to absorb the weight of all that, the text pivots. It almost feels like it's getting ready to finally, spell out exactly what these mysterious rights actually are.
The setting us up, it's preparing to give us the definitive list, the final piece of this whole puzzle. We're on the edge of our seats. And here's the line, a clear promise of an explanation. The rights of Asami are as follows. We're leaning in, we're ready for the answers.
And that's it. That is literally where the source cuts off. It makes a promise and then just silence. We're left on a massive cliffhanger with a definition, a paradox, a harsh reality, and a totally empty promise. The mystery of the Asami isn't just about what their rights were, but why the explanation for them is missing in the first place. I mean, what does it mean when a story just stops right before the most important part?